from You Will Make It TV family to yours. If you haven't already, please remember to subscribe, hit that like button to show your support. Like, share with a friend as well to show your support. Just other ways we always want to remind you guys that you can do that, okay? Good morning, happy Tuesday all over the world. We are back with another insightfulness topic because sometimes we do our messages and inspirational quotes, but then we do our insightfulness topics that give us a little more insight, or we give our own personal insight about these topics. So that's the great thing about that. I'm here this morning to give my reaction to lately media news about 11 inmates who escaped prison. Wow. And we're just here to talk about that a little bit more today. Good morning. I'm trying to let the chat open up a little bit, get some members in the room with us this morning, because I probably won't be here long, but I am grateful to come here with another live topic. We are trying to get it started more frequently for you guys. You can always email us at soulworkimages11@gmail.com if you have insightful topics, or if you're interested in collabing and building on other insightful topics. That is going to be opened up. I'm going to actually announce it more, because that's just a way that I'm trying to engage more with my subscribers, followers, and subs, okay? Everybody that comes over and support us, because maybe everybody doesn't want their, let's be honest about it, their support to be public. And with some things, that's okay. With stuff like this story, it's just crazy. Any support these inmates would get at any point will eventually become public, because we know that if you try to invade or interfere when a convict escape or they in trouble, you can be charged with harboring a fugitive. You can actually end up. I know I'm not teaching nobody anything about it. It just brings us back to that place where we're thinking about it again. We're remembering it. We're hopefully in that wise place about it, you know? Uh, because for sure, we all might know a person right now, or know a person that's been locked up before, has been locked up, probably some of us. Probably not in prison, because that's the thing with this story. This was a prison, supposedly. I got my article in here. Corrections monitoring technician in New Orleans stepped away for food. When he left, the Orleans Justice Center had been in lockdown since 10:30 p.m. I'm reading from an article published by CNN. By the way, all kind of media platforms are covering this story right now, and the stories are just one thing. I just been one of those people keeping up with it, because I saw in a matter of what, y'all, 48 hours, a little more or less, they already have apprehended three, supposedly, of the, good morning world, good morning, they've apprehended three of the escapees. I was like, let me be honest and come live this morning. That is very scary to hear. Or maybe it needs to come from a young mother, whether I'm from that state or not, whether I live there right now or not. It's people in other countries that just think that's crazy. But I wouldn't say, you look at the justice system and all that, like everybody talking about, but look at the minds of the people too. Like, it's one thing if it's three, four, five of them. It was a whole 11. At that point, it's a choice. It's just like the other ones, or I can't speak on it, but maybe everybody said this is, well, we're going to join in too. And the ones, as we see, that's still there, obviously, they chose not to run and make that choice with all of them. It's just really crazy and unfortunate to hear about. Because I've been to jail. Ain't no record of me not to prison. There ain't no record of me thinking of ways that didn't even cross my mind. Like, oh, how I'm going to get out of there. Of course, it's a place you don't want to be. Go in there and handle your business and come home, or avoid going there altogether. And it's really unfortunate that some people that sit in there today felt like they had no choice in the matter. Everybody's situation different why they end up in prison. It makes you think about why what led people to those positions of life, because not everybody gets life sentences and stuff like that. People don't be wanting to go in the first place. Some people flee long before the let's talk about that. This is a big story because they actually flee this facility. You see, but some people flee. They be trying to flee before court and flee all kind of situations altogether. That's just that is we are seeing the reality of some people's minds at this time. That's my opinion. I just at first I probably wasn't paying too much attention to the story, but it just seemed like the more I saw about it in the news, you just saw more. Like I didn't know they had wrote messages on the wall. I'm like, dang, they had time enough to do all that. You already escaping. Like they wrote little messages, wrote little comments, make you think of the Riddler or something, or leaving joke. Because all that's probably gonna be considered when if they apprehend them all and go back to court about it. That's gonna be considered. Y'all even left jokes on the wall. Like it's just crazy. Like this was too easy. I think one of them said that is crazy, man. But where do we stand now? I know they probably working very hard to make the city safe again there, ease everybody's consciousness about what's going on out there, ease their anxiety about it. I think I heard at one point they were probably on, I'm pretty sure they did have to do that, put the place on lockdown for a little while, the communities, the schools. They say it happened at night. I'm gonna keep reading from the article here. Uh, it says in the technician's absence, several inmates began tampering with the door of cell Delta 1006. They have come out with public statements and everything about this too. Shout out to the state out there. I know that probably wasn't easy to do. I'm not trying to feel sorry for either side or be on either side about it. I'm just giving a reaction to it. Um, It says they tugged and pulled until it broke open and snuck into the handicapped cell. Then a man squeezed through a small hole in the wall behind a metal toilet. That's what's crazy about it. They got footage. Obviously, that exposes somebody at that current time was not watching the footage. I see why some of the circulating comments say that. Because, they were able to definitely pull the footage. That's a good thing, don't y'all say? Everybody quick to say they feel like it's an inside job, but like you gotta cancel out some comments because it's like, bro, they have footage anyway of what happened or what was going on. It just shows somebody wasn't watching. They said a man squeezed through a small hole in the wall behind a metal toilet. I was reacting like, dang, a person can fit through that? A person can probably fit through vents. Y'all don't know what people can squeeze through. That was something, even if people think it's crazy, you think about it sometimes. Can people get through like small doors, vents, and what all they got going on? Not even just in prisons, like in regular places. Y'all know those sinkholes on the streets? I forgot what they call drainage holes. I've never liked those. I never liked walking too close to them personally, whether I'm driving or not. Get out, make a stop, or riding with somebody. I just never liked those. Riding a bike, I don't try to get too close to them. Spaces like that, they just seem, me personally, y'all know I'm a little bitty. I just always kind of been short anyway in height and small. So maybe you can fit. I don't like walking too close to people, those sinkholes outside. Those drainage sewage systems. It seems scary. Little kittens, pets, animals, they probably fall in them all the time. Ducks and birds. but they just are a part of the roads and streets. They have those out there, I guess, for if something floods. I think it leads to underground. I don't know everything. I've just never want to fall in one, so I don't walk too close to them. There are spaces that you can clearly look at. That's my example I'm giving. You can clearly look at and see, hey, I need to be careful right here because I can probably fall through it. You know what I'm saying? Externally, if I step over this hole or this space or this ditch, that's just something we naturally think about. But man, this right here is crazy. It puts you in that state of like lost for words too. Because you can feel the inmate pain already. Then you're looking at the system. I'm just saying, when I look at it with my mature mind and eyes and heart, like it's a lot. And if you're not staying in that community, you don't know what they're going through as these people running rampant right now, or because of choices they chose to make. Other people in the community still have family, elderly, kids to look out for. The update is they're doing a reward. I'm gonna keep reading though here. Another follow and another. That's what the footage showed. Just like more of them followed, running out of there behind each other. 7 more would make their way through the tiny opening as 10 inmates fled from the New Orleans jail and into the warm, muggy night. They left a message on the wall on the way out, like we was just talking about. That read, quote, "Too easy, LOL." The men, the youngest, 19, that's what I was looking at with this story too. Like, the ages, they are kind of putting it out there, like kind of what they charges were, like how old, like who they were. They already blasting it. Their names, their pictures, their mug shots. The youngest was 19 and the oldest 42 out of this group. Face a wide array of charges, including red rum, aggravated assault with a firearm, and domestic abuse battery. They had prepared for their escape and possibly had help, officials said. Toiletries left behind had been used. That is crazy. I think I'm just now seeing that part of the story. It says toiletries left behind had been used to remove the toilet and sink. That's crazy. Just straight out toiletries. As well as bolts in the cell. At least one steel bar protecting plumbing fixtures appeared to have been intentionally cut using a tool, according to law enforcement. Around 1 a.m., nearly 40 minutes after their escape began, they left the jail through a loading door where supplies were brought in, sprinting and leaping off the block deck to freedom. In beige and orange, that's what the footage showed. They wore a blue hat. 2 others had orange shoes. One man tripled over a bundle of fabric he was carrying before getting up and running out of the camera's range. That's crazy. Somebody tried to take clothes with him. The group scaled a fence along Interstate 10 using blankets they brought to shield themselves from barbed wire. Because I was thinking about that part. Like, don't those places have barbed wire fences around them? I really was thinking that. I'm just now reading that part about it. That is something I had thought to myself out loud when it comes to my reaction. But they used blankets supposedly to shield themselves from the barbed wire, law enforcement later said. The inmates dashed across train tracks and multiple lanes of traffic. Wow, how dangerous, bro. Just putting us back in that state of mind, they really did risk their lives to commit this act right here. They risk their own lives. You risking other people's lives too. But in this situation, they risk their own lives first. I'm looking at that. It's already saying how they crossed what they say, train tracks and lanes of traffic on their way to a nearby neighborhood where they shed their jail jumpsuits. During a routine head count at 8:30 in the morning, y'all. This is how much later. Officials finally discovered that multiple inmates had escaped. The missing inmates at first reported to be the 11 men before it was later corrected to 10. So some of y'all seeing 11 escape, 10. That's the mix-up about. That's the clarification about that. They said it was first reported 11, and it was corrected to 10. But you guys can leave your updates in the comments where people were saying that it seemed like the number kept changing, like the head count, how many triggered a widespread manhunt across. Here go the states right now. Wow, I'm reading this from CNN though. Texas, Mississippi. So it sparked a widespread manhunt in Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Tennessee already. That's good to know they just already own it. They already own it. That many states are named off. That many surrounding states. Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Their escape also unleashed several suspicions, questions about lack of transparency, and flurry of accusations about who's to blame. A fluid situation or a dangerous one. As authorities at the jail activated emergency protocols, the city of New Orleans spent the morning of May 16th unaware that 10 armed and dangerous men had escaped. The public wasn't notified till nearly 11 a.m., almost 10 hours after the inmates had fled and 3 hours after the sheriff learned they were missing. According to CNN affiliate, a citywide alert wouldn't be sent until 2:30 the next day, p.m. Down the road from the Justice Center, the staff at the district attorney's office was unaware of the situation unfolding at the jail. Wow. See how they probably just making it harder for the other people in prison that's already in there. I'm sure they are on lockdown too and being questioned and everything. Like, now they finna, if they didn't have stricter protocols before, though I've heard nobody else say it right now. That's a fact. I mean, it seems like a wise prediction. Everything they had seemed to be lacking before, they should get the help now. If they needed stronger security, updated fixture systems, whatever, I'm already predicting that they will probably get help with that now. Come on, man. You got schools, libraries, public places, stores that's just still in business every day. Even if an inmate decides they're going to do that. That's why they have to take it serious. And definitely hammer down. I'm saying the search part is important, but I'm talking about the security in the facilities. It's just like, dang, you probably finna have them other people that didn't even escape finna be bunkered down even heavier now. As people are saying it should have been like this to begin with, I get it. But I just feel like maybe that's a positive inspiration I could give people. Like, don't y'all think they finna definitely do they have no choice. I heard some people already been like suspended. I don't know if they firing people just yet. I'm finna keep reading this article though. But I do think of people being suspended already. They've been suspended or let go. That seems about right though, until they see what's going on. That's probably why it's just on suspension level with some of their staff there. But one of the escapees who had been convicted of red rum of 2 men, the people in my office put people in jail. These inmates don't like them. The fact that these inmates are less than 100 feet away and they've gotten out and no one rings an alarm, that's deeply problematic. Anyways, just reading from some of the statements of this is crazy. I'm trying to find information where they said people got. Yeah, here it is. It says people who they trying to hold accountable. They already looking at that because people are demanding it. Especially the people in the local community there. Hard-working taxpayers. They like, hey, who are we holding responsible for this? Are we already on it? It's the first 72 hours of this situation. Okay, here is what I saw. 4 supervisors and 36 staff members were working at the time of the escape, the sheriff's office said. 3 jail employees have been suspended. Okay, I had read 4. Let me see. On another article, 3 jail employees have been suspended without pay pending the outcome of an internal investigation as of Friday evening. It's unclear why they were subject to disciplinary action. Wow. Okay. So is that like what I said? They're on suspension. It says suspended without pay pending the outcome. But who were these employees? Probably people that was on shift. Anyways, people like the governor, the mayor have already been stepping up, giving public the chief of corrections. It says he blamed the security breach on the facility's infrastructure. What do you guys think about that? If that's not a person saying they need help with security, I don't know what is. Let me read that again. If you're blaming the breach on the infrastructure, then you need help with the facility's infrastructure. I'm just trying to look at it for what it is. You need help with security altogether. It shouldn't be being breached that easily. Okay, they left a little cute note or whatever saying it was easy. The public is seeing it was easy. Okay, we would hope that the next steps is that, yeah, they get help with upping the security a whole lot more. That's all the people saying. We're raising our voices about what that looks like. Cause see, really, that could have happened anywhere then. We're not hearing this happen in California or anywhere else. Because we know there's been stories about prisons altogether unraveling here and there. Just about stuff that inmates were probably even going through in them. Let's be honest. Or y'all don't pay attention to that side of the news. But there have been news for a while now of like people in there, stories being shared of just, what is that word? I don't want to say injustices. What do you call it when they're inmates, right? That's how people feel anyway. They like, well, we shouldn't care what happens in there. Don't tell me this was not people attitudes about inmates for a long time. You just feel like, well, whatever they did, they deserve it, and they're inmates, and who cares, right? You got to understand, there was a whole season of the pandemic COVID-19 for years. Where do y'all think the inmates were through COVID-19? They were still in jail. I'm not saying I'm here to advocate for all the inmates. I have always thought about that. How people's perception of them. Even if you've been on the other side of it before, and you just know in that time what you went through or how it was. Come on, man. Well, that would mean you have a little experience. You know how people look at inmates. They don't even have to know what you did yet. If it's in your background, not even just inmates, people that have with a background too. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic about it. If you got a background, that means it's in your history. But I don't know who people think they be, but don't y'all think they make people work just to... It's one thing to have a background, but there's obviously have to be evidence that they worked, they did something, whether it's probation, whatever it was, to not erase it off their background, but get to background level. The only other opposite of background is you go back to jail. It's always been like that. If you can't keep yourself out of having background trouble, you persist to continue to have a background. There's no way around it. So I just always thought it was silly for somebody to hold something like, that's just kind of the way of our culture over here on this side. Hold a background to somebody. Because you really do have people still in there serving time. And of course, you just being accused or alleged something, that's not a background yet. It's not a good reputation, but it's not quite a background. That's my opinion about it. A background is actually you being charged for that at some point in your life. You serve time for that or whatever your due diligence was to society at that time. And then boom, that's in your background. Something you just being alleged or accused of, you gotta call it for what it is in the stages of it. Uh, that's not a background yet. That's just rumors and something that's making your name look bad. We can agree to that. But that's not quite on your background. That's what people are alleging. That's how it goes. And how this law over here goes. So anyways, that's what's important about this story though. Some of them was facing court soon before they escaped. I was just like, this is one of those stories, the more I read, it was really disheartening. You know what I mean? Because there's no way around thinking about how this all begins. It doesn't even happen if you weren't in jail to begin with. Not saying we can keep the whole world out of jail. That's not what I'm saying. But it makes you think about how these things transpire, why you wanted to stand up and fight it for humanitarianism altogether. I remember back in, I don't want to make this about me. I'm just giving a quick story real quick. Back at a certain point in my life, because it is important. When you're in the young teen era, to have a future dream is good. You never want to shoot that down for the kids. Not saying anybody did to me. But if you felt the heart of humanitarianism a long time ago, ain't nothing wrong with speaking on it. You just didn't understand it. You were young. You didn't understand why you care about the affairs of interaction with human beings and how they treat one another. And you know what I'm saying? Their disciplinary methods. And I just was looking at that a long time ago as a really young kid. It's not even to scare anybody or nothing. I just was like, really, whether you told people you were looking at that or not, you found yourself observing a long time ago how people interact with each other, even if it seemed like people get in groups. I just felt like a foreigner here or something as a young person. Like, it seemed like like I'm just scanning people. It seemed like the people get in groups, everybody, hang out with like-minded, or they got to be the same as each group. Maybe it started that way with me and it just got deeper. Like, I'm not saying nothing wrong with a group, a team, unity ever. But sometimes, what if that group disagrees? You did probably start in groups. What if you have a disagreement? That's the thing about groups. Nobody ever talk about. That's cool. It's not cool. I'm saying it, rhetorically. They all chose to run and escape together. We don't know. Some of them probably together right now. But the ones they caught, they did not catch them all together. That's not what I read. They were all like in different locations. I don't know if y'all was following this story or not, but I've been following it. What? It already said the states they looking in anyway. All those surrounding states, they already own it. So I'm gonna follow the story. What y'all mean? And it actually was a good feeling, because maybe y'all do have to respond to the responders. You whipping them down right now, like, how could y'all let this happen? Come on, man. The people trying to do their job right now. We talk about that in 1 second. Or let the parties that could talk about that right now talk about it. The media. The actual people with the jobs have to do their jobs. That's what people need to know about that, in my opinion. Okay? Let them, how do you expect every time you wasting wanting them to give you an answer about where and how they messed up? That's wasting time. You're not gonna, come on, man. And yes, you gotta work on the security part all at the same time. Why would you wait till after you apprehend them to be like, okay, now what are we gonna do about security? No, I'm sure they're already discussing it, getting it. It's just probably a lot going on out there right now. Same thing with the schools. The schools are not prisons per se, but people were already saying this a long time ago. Do we need to get to the level of upping the security for public schools because of the increase in the violence? Because I'm not going to say the word shootings. That's not the only way that violence happens. People fighting, staging fights, fighting over kids. No telling what the kids be fighting about today, but they do it. That's before somebody even walk in there with a weapon. So I'm just saying that part of violence was already happening at some schools. Like, if they not fighting at school, they fighting after school. Let's be honest about it. They probably fighting at the local park or wherever. Cause not every kid leaves school at school. That's what I'm saying. Even every family. It's the same thing about prison though. Like, not everybody leave prison at prison. Maybe they need help doing it. Even when they not escaping. That's just something I'm looking at. Even when they not, they just in there. Then they did their time, they get out. Do they leave that there? Do we leave some of our, where we picked up maybe certain uh, mishaps? What do you call it? You picked up certain qualities, traits of that environment. Let's be honest about it. Um, can everybody move on from that? That's my question. Some people, they don't leave their environment. What they might tell you at work, leave your home life at home. That's what I remember being taught. And where else do they tell us that? See, a place like a church or something, that's okay. You can bring your home life there, maybe talk to somebody about it. Therapy sessions, there are some places that are actually created. That's the point, for you to release and bring home life, share with everybody. Come on, man. So anyways, it's just crazy to see the people's reaction to this overall. How do we see it? It's a trending topic in social media right now. So social media is a arena. People are able to respond to one another, put their opinions and thoughts out loud on the screen for the public to see, and that's how you see how the people feel. Nobody's ever just flat out, I ain't seen a comment that say that yet. Like, oh my God, since this came out, I am scared. But I'll say it, that's crazy. Like, because you don't want all the prisons feeling like they can do that. Period. Somebody gotta say it. That's why this is bad. You don't want all your facilities to start feeling like, what they call it, copycat crimes or something like that, where they all trying it too. That's why I was really shocked. I'm gonna give my personal reaction. I was shocked they showed the pictures and how they got out. Maybe I'm just thinking too cliche about it, but I just try to assess every little detail sometimes if I'm really intrigued with a story. And it's like, dang, they showed it showed it on footage too, them kind of like pulling at a door or some shit they were doing, pulling at it, trying to get out. It showed it. Then it showed where the sink and toilet part was, where they pulled it out the wall. It probably didn't show the full path they took. They did a good job with that. Because don't show that. What would that be showing the people? That's what I was concerned about. People do watch TV in jail. I don't know what. They be kind of connected to the outside world. I'm sure other ones have unfortunately had to hear about what's going on somewhere. Maybe they've been on lockdown. I don't personally talk to anybody locked up at this time, especially in any of the states that was mentioned in this article. But ain't no telling. Maybe some other places are on lockdown too, because this is going on. This happened at one. It's really crazy to think about. Like, we don't think about what happened in these situations. I'm saying as society, as taxpayers, as Americans, like, until these situations happen. So maybe things are meant to happen or something, and it gives the other systems and facilities time to, get together, make sure they have their backup plans and everything in order. Even the backup staff, if it's a shortage of staff, but we did hear that it was a lot of staff cuts and stuff being, like, come on, man, don't tell us this is a part of it. This may be a part of it, like that. I forgot about that part. Y'all were kind of doing budget cuts and stuff recently. I'm just slowly thinking about it, thinking around it, in my own opinion. But they were doing budget cuts to education, different systems and programs and stuff lately. People might be shocked. Like, we doubt they did it to the prison systems anywhere. That's what I'm saying. Like, you probably not gonna cut budget over there. That's what's crazy too. Somebody shunned the light on the fact that they weren't illegal immigrants. Like, they were total citizens from over here. You can't say, what did you expect? Good character, or we're shocked? Come on, bro, it's an inmate. This is more, it do kind of fall back on the systems after they're done doing their job and everything. It's just like making sure they have, I guess, the best advanced technology to make sure these things are not happening. We have it with everything else. Technology, up security. People have security on their homes. I wouldn't say that's an all in all, because we've been hearing about politicians. This has been crazy. Politicians, artists, they get robbed. There's recent stories in the news about it. And they are definitely on another bracket of money. Some of these celebrities, and did I just say celebrities though? No, when I heard that one story, that one politician house, somebody broke in or something, I'm like, what? Y'all know who I'm talking about? Was it I was trying to think, was it a judge or a senator or something? I remember that story. And I'm just like, because I know those type of people would have security on their house. So it's more of a security breach issue than it would be security. I know I'm not teaching us nothing, but if we see that after so long, what are we implementing? You're going to keep the security on the same level and it's being breached all the time. Is that what we're... Even with the phones, the systems, the computers and stuff. Because I know that's what most security is backed up by these days. You know what I mean? People can see their cameras through an app today. That's outside of the jail. That's my reaction. People can see their home. They can be at work and see their camera from work. I'm saying though, when we saw people on different brackets of money, it can happen to them. What is a camera at home? You could be on the road. Maybe that's when you are more of a target. But I don't even know why I start touching on it. That we know those are actions that can lead to you being an inmate. Come on, man. That's not probably a violent act. That's a different class of crime, and I don't see why you escape. Just do your time. You out here doing it. We all got a choice. You got a choice to stop every day. Yes, we can all agree. It's harder in society. You got to do more. You got to work more for money. That's everybody's situation. That's what I've been looking at the whole time. Unless you say, well, not the politicians. I'm not gonna get that deep in it politically, because everybody is making this, by the way, in trending topic, a political subject. Not just, inmates and criminals and what they do. They're already on a political level about this. So, what do y'all think about that? And they like, Miss Whitney, this would be a political affair, because it goes back to... That's why we seeing mayors come out, governors come out and speak, police chief commanders and everything. That is so unfortunate. But yeah, that's my main reaction. You don't want to see that start happening at multiple facilities. Yes, we have a problem, people, but keep your seatbelts on, have faith and hope, and whatever I guess you could do. If I encourage the people, if you could do anything to help, all they asking you to do is, be aware. It's up to you. If you want to call Crime Stopper, you see it, they do have a $10,000 reward. Some people were being funny and trending comments saying it needs to be more, and then they might help. I mean, it was just funny to kind of see society's reaction. maybe still make a little light and jokes of the situation, but it's really not a laughing matter when you have surrounding schools, daycares, just public places that operate on a day-to-day basis as they usually do, where kids attend, elderly people, hospitals. Somebody was saying, man, they probably can put on homeless clothes and be in the tents and nobody would notice them. That's crazy. Because I thought about it and I'm like, damn, that's probably like true. They could be out there with the homeless. The way they look down on them, that's probably where they are searching too. Those type of encampments. Abandoned encampments. On the footage of the ones they caught, people was just like, man, those guys look really embarrassed. Like, I didn't stop to think about that. How would you feel? You caught within 48 hours of even trying it. Now, like I read, the ages were between 19, as young as 19 and 42 of the inmates. But the young ones, I feel like it's just a worse situation, you know? They couldn't have understood as much as the older inmates who tried it, like what they were actually doing, maybe, in that moment. Other trending comments I ain't gonna even speak on, but I think the point is getting out there on an internet level at this point that, yeah, some places they need help, those facilities. Whether it be from staff or internal investigation, some people saying it shouldn't have took this much for some of these places to be, I don't know, either more listened to or looked into, however you want to put it. Because they say they have, maybe they just didn't have the budget for this and that. I think I read the word directly, infrastructure. Okay, well, you shut it down for maintenance for a little while. Shut that section down. Just giving my open thoughts and opinions about it. Who am I, right? Because you can't just have a rocky foundation over there on one part of the building and still put them in there, in my opinion. If you know the walls is messed up over there, why are they in there, I guess? I know it seems late to talk about it, but just maybe for other facilities. Like, you know what, we did, now listening to her podcast, we did notice a leak in building D. Let's go ahead and move everybody out that pod right now. She's making a whole point. When we see just even what seems like the smallest of this needs to be maintenance, storage, what's that called? Like capacity levels really have to be looked at again then. Because if you need to shut down a certain part of the wall, the building, section, area, for maintenance, even if you don't have the funds, that's how I would think about it. You know, if that's what you want to make your all in all, like this is what it was. Like, we've been needing money for infrastructure. I guess that's a nice way to say, like, to put this place back together, to get it up to code and par, to where everything is built in and secured like it needs to be. Shut that side of the jail down. Why would you keep it open? And you know, certain things is faulty over there on that side. In the walls or the sink, the hallway. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we got to go to extreme protocol, even if it's a little leak in the shower, just like you do with any other maintenance orders. Maybe shut it down. Don't use it. Don't use that side. Don't even put them in those cells, those pods. That, I don't care what you used it for. How many people it could house. That's like, maybe it's just that type of mistake. That's what I'm saying. We know it's just not that because it's also security. Once again, going back to who was supposed to be watching, that was on shift. That's why people saying it already looked kind of like staged or set up. That's crazy. Like, but yes, I say its infrastructure is a part of it. They shouldn't be able to do it whether security taking a lunch break, whatever she was doing or not. They shouldn't have been able to do it. Right? It's not the first time. There are other historical stories. I'm talking about they go way back of people attempting this very same thing. Some of them even getting away. That's crazy. Maybe it's not even just in the jails. Actually, on the y'all know those buses, cause sometimes they transport them places. Even if it's to the medics or they're going to a whole new facility. Sometimes you are. That's a real part of incarceration. You might be transferred around places. So that's where sometimes those attempts happen. Is all I'm saying. Some of them would try that time, like, oh, we on the bus. They be having handcuffs on and everything. They have them what they feel like secure. You're not in the jail. You're on the bus being transported somewhere, and they will still try it. Don't ask me how they do it. You got shackles on your feet and your hands and your hips and stuff hanging from your hips. How the hell are you still escaping the jail bus? But there are stories out there for those that do find the fun and brilliancy in research. Because none of us know everything. There are certain instances, stories, signs that might lead you to research something. There have been other people that tried this. Sometimes in groups, sometimes by themselves. I just think it's interesting to bring you back to look at that. It's never, what I can say, maybe to give people hope, stop the law from being a law. You have those people that attempt it. And the law still carries on as the law afterwards. There's a protocol about stuff. They try to go apprehend them. Sometimes maybe it do take a little longer. Like with this story, if they don't have a notification, a call, they haven't been notified about the situation, how can they send help? Even if it happened on the road, like I said, during transport or something. The sooner they get the call to notify, because for those that's probably just now learning about the story, that was a big part of this too. The delay in the right authorities learning that the situation had even happened. So like they saying, maybe it wasn't until head count time that they even noticed. Notice is just noticing. Maybe you spent 10 minutes after noticing looking around before you even called more authorities in on the situation. Most definitely. They probably did, like, what, they saying it like that for the story anyway. Allegedly they didn't notice that they were missing till the next morning. That is crazy. Cause I just thought they do rounds or whatever way less than every 8 hours. You know what I mean? Like every 2 hours make more sense if you give it that. Even through the night when everybody locked down in their cells, don't they walk around? Like, it's just a crazy story. If you're not walking around, shouldn't you be somewhere from afar watching the footage? So I'm not the one in control of training who train guards and stuff like that. But if I were to have to think about it, it just shows that it's a good lesson for training for the future guards. Definitely. When they do the training videos for the future guards, ever since this needs to be in it. The correctional officer training, whatever come with it. And everybody actually need to sit down. I ain't gonna put it on everybody. See, that's just happened in this state. But maybe there's nothing wrong with that. Have a few meetings here soon and everybody talk. That's how serious this is. I don't know what we've had meetings about before, but people need to be meeting about stuff like this. Like, look, even as a training video, what they call it, orientation. Look at this story. Look how many got away. That's what I said. They ain't doing nothing but bringing more pressure down on the people that's still there, bro. And they didn't even, like, run away or nothing. Think about it. Bro, within 24 hours of them noticing y'all missing, they probably was having to feel the effect of your actions. We're not even just talking about the people in the public yet. Think about the people still behind her back there. Y'all probably like, forget them people, they inmates. No, they still there at that facility. And other facilities out there in surrounding areas, like the article told us, that they're going to be searching. Those people in there probably was on lockdown, probably will be on lockdown for a minute. They have loved ones and stuff they was keeping in touch with, and probably things, jobs and stuff they had. Some of them probably was almost gonna go home too. Think about it. Y'all know every day somebody is out there. Every day you wake up, you don't think about it, and you can't find nothing to praise God for or thank God for. You can thank Him that somebody that you don't know is incarcerated and is getting closer to their time to get out. Because not everybody is trying to get out and be repeat offenders. I do agree with that. Not everybody mind is on doing the right thing either. But it's just something, if you couldn't find nothing else and you feel like, no, I'm an atheist, whatever it is. Like, there is nothing absolutely I can stop and thank God for. Another person that's not you, every day they go by that you wake up outside, they waking up in there. They getting closer to their time being over. Thank God for that. Because maybe they even have a chance to turn their life around. You know what I mean? And those people are still in there doing their time. But the pressure, the security that must have went into effect immediately for those people that were still there, I can only imagine. Because of the actions of another, you know what I mean? Now we on lockdown. Now we probably can't write and call nobody. You know what I mean? Now we probably got to get our trays in ourselves and be questioned over. Some of them probably knew. Y'all think that some of them inmates probably knew what them people was gonna do, or maybe it was just one of those spur of the moment decisions of those fellows. Spur of the moment means we notice there's no security. Let's try this. Like, there had to be other inmates that were, I ain't gonna say in on it, cause how are they in on it? What are they getting out of it? If the inmates could talk, would they? They probably talking to them. Ain't that something? Nobody thought about that part. Them people there, they probably can, I ain't no telling what they know, but they might can help themselves. It's just crazy to be put in that position. Because usually if you there in the pod with them, you there with them on a day-to-day basis. You just around them people before they escape. You know, they can suspect that you know something about what they do, or that they was gonna try, or whatever. Maybe other people they talk to in there. That's another community. I probably wouldn't even talk to a lot of people. Let's talk about that. Like, using myself for an example. Yeah, if I'm like that out here, just in the day-to-day world already, I would probably be like that in there too. Cause see, you don't know what the next inmate, first of all, is in there for, nor do you know what's like on their mind next. Like, it wouldn't even be oh, I'm better than everybody trying to be bougie in here. I would be one of those straight to business people though, that's like, I'm in here to do my time and I'm gonna focus on myself, just like out there. Even if I'm in total confinement, you know, make it easier for myself. You don't know what that person next to you or on the next bunk is thinking in the next second. That's how they live every day. You don't know what they're planning next, not even against you. That's why I said, if I just had to bunker down for any reason and do it, I'm gonna still be like I am out here. I'm not probably finna associate myself with too much. They say it's probably easier said than done. You know, women's side of confinement is probably way different for the men. It's still the same type of scenarios you can get yourself in though. Just because it's a women's facility don't mean, you know what I mean? You can, that's another fun fact. Anybody can go Google anytime. Like, have a woman tried it. Have a woman tried to escape before at a women's facility? Like I said, sometimes stories have to inspire you too. Non-research is why a lot of people are lost as it is. Non-knowledge, non-education about something, not being aware. Like I said, the young ones of the group that weren't probably fully aware in the moment that they're doing the action, how much worse they're making it for themselves. The one that's older probably knew better. Still, you make that choice. You ran away. People still just know they're encouraging the public to come forth with information they might know if they see one of them. But they want the public to have good faith that they are doing everything they can to be looking for them. It's crazy. You get to see the people raw reactions. See, this everybody else shocked, but I've watched like the Alcatraz story prisons that's the far on islands, because I used to watch like those type of documentaries. Especially, what do they call them? Asylums, guys. Like the history of uh mental health science. Okay, I felt like I was a good candidate for this topic too, as a live topic, because I did used to be into those documentaries. Some are true stories. Any documentary might be more of a true story, but I mean the ones they've made into movies. Some of them are true stories. You might can catch one on Lifetime, or just to give y'all somewhere where you might be able to start. HBO, Lifetime is a good place. We're not talking sci-fi, more like real life medical thrillers, medical science thrillers that are true stories. Like maybe they had to put you in one of that, because they have all kind of levels of prisons. Okay, so when you talk about security, it was very very interesting to me, right? Because you have one level of prison that's like straight psychiatric. It's still a prison, but they can attend to the inmates a certain way and accommodate them a certain way with I guess more of what they would need. It's not just a holdings. They might have a specific type of holding cells at some of these places. They put people like a certain type of because prisons already be maximum security, but like I'm saying, they have higher even levels than that. Yeah, I don't know if people didn't know. Now, some of this, like this story, I researched to talk about it today, and I had just already been following it. But I'm just saying, like other research about higher maximum prisons and psychiatric facility type prisons, I've already been off into that type of study, because I just thought it was interesting. What's that one movie, y'all? If y'all want a good recommendation of what I was talking about today after this live, maybe sometime this week or this weekend, check it out. It's called Shutter Island. Like that's just one example of one of those great films that kind of portrays that. Like you have way crazier people. Like even though it's on the island, they have still tried to escape. That's what I was getting to overall when I make my point about it. You know. Yeah, what's that one famous? What's that they name? Not the Alcatraz. I think it's a prison called Alcatraz though. But it's this one on the island. It's a old. Some call it a myth, but some say he was really a prisoner there. Just and this is literally swimming across the ocean to get away. Yeah, if it's on an island far out, they make sure it's like that. Like I said, the security, there's just higher level securities than maximum security, because those are the ones that did like the most vicious. I'm sure you could find YouTube stories about it, like channels that cover those, some of the most gruesome crimes where they had to put them in like whole different type of places after they apprehend them. Not just physical places, I mean like maximum. There is levels higher. If y'all don't get nothing else out of at what I said on this stream, there are higher levels than maximum security. There are just like higher level prisons. What do I mean by higher level? They put only certain type. Your case have to be a certain type of like crazy. I don't mean crazy as in just like, oh, that's a crazy woman or man. No, I mean like your crime, like this man in Shutter Island. Not to spoil the movie for y'all, right? But who better? Who better than to give kind of an insight on what happened? Because it's fun to talk about with this topic for a second. Because that wasn't just like a prison like this. It's a psychiatric type prison. I don't even know if they still have those. I think they do. Or it might be off on an island somewhere in the middle of the jungle. They not playing with people. Like, there are prisons and places you probably wouldn't even imagine, I'm sure. And there are ones, just before I go in on the movie, there are ones that even, I think you gotta have 5 years or less. It's a show about it. Only certain people qualify for this program, for the women. Because some of them do go to jail. What? Pregnant. It's not a comfortable topic people like to talk about. But that's been happening. Women sometimes have to go to jail pregnant. Uh, did y'all hear about that one lady though? She got, I mean, I don't know. God rest her soul. The spouse took her life at a conjugal visit. That wasn't that long ago. I ain't even finna say the comment that y'all already thinking. Like, what situation is worse? These people getting out like that, or with that, they tried to more. There were some comments that do that. That did that. Like, more victim shame her. Like, why was she going to see a convict anyway? You know what I mean? Why was she dating or married to a prisoner? They wasn't saying it. It was like saying she deserved it without saying it. There were some of the comments that were floating around out there if you go look up that story. That's pretty much where I've gotten more mature. I'm not finna let something like a comment disturb my whole, like, that's that person opinion or something. For you to say, well, she could have picked any man. She chose to be with that person. She had the conjugal visit. He took her life. And move on with the story, but want to give this one way more attention. To me, it's the same level of tragedy. A wife going to see her husband just to visit, and she miss him, and she's trying to support him until he get out, and that was on the news too. Her family lost their beloved because she had a big enough heart to love a person. Maybe she didn't see that person as an inmate, as a criminal. What about those moments? I'm not saying put your all in all faith in the justice system to the people today. I'm saying, what about those moments? Like, they did have the person. This person is already in there. This person has a loved one. They want to come see them in conjugal visits. The only place they hold the power at that point, if they married, depending on what state you're in, is whether they approve those visits or not. So maybe that's what the whole swirling topic was with that story. You know, y'all approve, because that lady that happened to, she was a little older. And condolences to her family and loved ones at this time. I'm not saying it to exploit the story. It was already like media coverage. And I don't want her story to be in vain. Like, what is it supposed to show us? You know, all in all, when it comes to the systems and the barriers it can create in family life sometimes. Because I don't care what reason you tell me, he was totally wrong for taking her life. Whether you're in jail and did it, that's just what was different about that story. He did it at the jail. He did it at the visit. You got people out here with their freedoms who, I just say that's dangerous. When you're out here with your freedoms and you already don't appreciate that. And there's many signs that can show us that a person just really don't appreciate their freedoms like they think they do. What I'm gonna explain what I mean by that, because they are right. They have a point. She didn't have to be doing the conjugal visits. I'm not gonna say that's like that's wrong, right? If it comes to somebody commenting on something or how they feel about a public story. Of course, that's true. The person had the choice. That's what I'm talking about in their world of freedoms to pick another dating preference, or marry somebody else, is that like turning your back on your loved one? I think with that story, that was her husband. He was just carrying out a sentence he had, and y'all were doing conjugal visits. So I'm sure the staff there was also shocked. Um, Come on now, I give it that. You're shocked because you wouldn't just approve the visits. And you think he would do something like that. But with that story, he was in there already for a violent crime. So what I'm reminding people, every time people show that we can't handle certain freedoms, they are gonna. You're forcing the system to have to make the in between changes for sure. If you got more of a percentage abusing the freedom than you have actually enjoying the freedom, what are you doing to that freedom? Maybe that's a better way for me to put it. For the ones that like to abuse the freedoms on a very, I think people know what I mean. If you want to abuse the freedoms and you want it to be 80% of y'all doing it, and the other 20% is now like, hell, they're damn near forgetting what the freedom truly was, what it was about. Like, they can't fully enjoy it because the 80%, and it's the same thing probably, like I said, they're probably going through at their facility right now in current time. Like, now we're going to be hammered down more on starting from the day they discovered that y'all escaped. They're going to just be more bunkered down around there. I guess you could say it's a good thing, but everybody would know why, and it shouldn't take it getting to that extreme. So anyways, this is why those on the better side of society do continue to speak up, because it shouldn't even get to that point. So if you're already speaking when you get certain complaints, or you're already making sure an action is one foot after the other, right after we get these, because people are going to make mistakes. I don't care what kind of system it is. Even on the gaming system, it could glitch, it could crash at any second. Any system can. Or don't call it a system, because when it's a system, that is a very real thing. A computer system, a phone system, a school system, I don't care what kind of system it is. What is a system then? Don't consider everything some type of system or connected to a system if it can't do what a system can do. We all know the positive benefits of a system when it's working accordingly, when everything is functioning like it's supposed to. But that's what I'm asking. What system is perfect? Even Teslas have had complaints lately. Maybe I shouldn't compare electronic systems to actual like social systems. Maybe that's not proper. But I would say overall a system is a system. And just like systems present positive benefits, they can also, if you don't update it, don't they say you got to do that to a system too? Every so often you need to come together and make sure you're having updates to that system, no matter what kind of system it is. Other than that, the only thing that can happen, I wouldn't say it's just absolutely terrible, but it is a fact. Like, if you don't update a system and you just keep it the same, no update. But the things around it are continuing to update. But you don't update the system, just to give everybody a visual here. But you just keep the system the same. No update, no refresh, no I'm trying to stay on track here with the verbiage. Um Even with computer systems, you're gonna have your software updates, and it'll give you a reminder like install now or remind me later, okay? And I feel like our social systems also give us those same signs, uh because it is a system overall. Or our justice system is still a system. It's going to give you those same signs like, hey, remember, update your phone soon. You got outdated stuff. Your Gmail ain't going to work right. It tells you that in so many words. I'm probably not saying it how they actually say it, but, and it'll have the option, remind me later, or update system now. Have y'all ever seen that on y'all phones or devices? If not, maybe you have a really, really updated, I don't know about Apple. Our Androids and just old school Chrome devices, man, It needs an update so often. I know I'm not crazy. Microsoft too. I have been a Microsoft user. It will so often give you that notification like you need an update. That ain't even security yet. That's just like your system. I'm sorry to laugh, y'all, for real, because I'm really trying to make a real point right now. It will tell you that your system needs to up. That's more than a sign. It's notifying you, but it's up to you. Now the system's still going to operate. That's something to think about when I use electronic for a second, for an example. Because it's the same thing. If it's like justice system, it don't matter. A system is a system. Social system, social interaction with people outside everyday system. Whatever system it is, computer system. A system is a system. Anyways, if it give you an update and you reminder and you ignore it, your phone is still gonna work. The tablet's still gonna work. The computer just still gonna turn on. But now, if you sit there and complain about it lagging or glitching or service breakage every so often, it just looks crazy because the servicer people could tell you, well, dang, we told you to update it. It sent you a notification. It's showing in our system. That's the thing about systems. Maybe it knows. Some are created too to be able to locate bugs, viruses, hackers, all of that. It depends on what system you're using for what other system. Security has seemed to be a big one, just like problem. Even if it's not in jails, like with people devices and homes. You know how many things have to be secured? Cars, insurance. Because if you have weatherization problems all the time, now you got to call insurance all the time. And hopefully you have a something. You know what I'm saying? For your house, your car, your property, your business. People thought those rich people lives is easy. That everything, it's probably cool to be able to obtain a lot of things whenever you want it, but just about everything attached to you would need the same level of security. Think about it. As you, because you're investing in it, and it's going to be attached to you, and you're $1 million mogul. So now that Ferrari would need protection, whether you're talking about insurance, where you're parking it, who drives it, it's just going to need protection. It's now a part of you because you chose to make that an asset. It's funny they call it asset. You chose to purchase this. It's going to need protection. Is it attached to your name? You're in. I mean, I'm not teaching nobody nothing, but it's like talking about systems in a more positive way where people can understand. Either way, you can never make what happened people escaping people understand that. I'm just saying a more mature way to look at it. Nobody asked me to do it. It's a triggering story. They could easily sit there and scare somebody to see that on the news. It could easily just make them feel like, oh my God, am I okay? Because there's people on the loose, criminals and inmates from prison, okay? And if you are freaked out about it, a word of inspiration is like, you got people like that on the streets already every day. And maybe they just haven't been caught, or they are very careful with what they do. But we do have to remember, just because a person not an inmate doesn't mean they're all in all innocent and not guilty either. What would we expect if anybody would want to sit back and be like, I mean, because that's true too. I believe God allowed things to happen for a reason. What would be the reason? Like, what are people learning out of the story? People probably in surrounding neighborhoods have security on their homes and still worried, because the system just alerts you well, that type of system. Its job is to alert you when there is a breakage or entry. Maybe that's an ideal for them. Now you need the alarm securities maybe in every cell. something like that. On everything they touch, the showers, the sinks, you just need a some type of triggering system. Maybe but back to what I was saying, any outdated system and you don't update it, it's gonna still work even when you think about an electronic device. It's still gonna let you get on the internet. You're still gonna probably be able to do things on it. But see, it might make it move slower, or it might download things slower. When you notice that type of stuff, you might need a system update. You might need more storage. It could be anything that is equal value to an update. I don't know what kind of devices and things and technology they have, but maybe that is a start. Maybe what we build them out of is already like security level. It's just gonna trigger you. I've gone to public places, they have automatic hand washers. Like the water comes on as you stick your hand. Every jail is different, I know that. Then they don't have to touch something. Maybe you could have another level of security alarm. That's why I say that specific type. When the actual physical things are being touched, like the bed, maybe the beds. I don't know how they're gonna make that possible. Some of them they build in the bunks though, into the walls. I don't know if people know that. Like they're not any type of physical bunk bed. It's like actually built into the wall type. So I don't know how they could incorporate. I just think it would be a good idea. Like you could be notified not just when somebody trying to escape, but when they even touching the when they moving something another way. Cause I know we have like what they call them sensors, y'all, for home security. Put them things. We gotta have something like that for that level of. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They like sensors. They can go on your wall, and even if you're away from home, or like that worker was away from their desk, it will alert you if somebody is moving in a certain area. On period, it does that. It depends on what. I ain't gonna tell y'all the companies. Y'all like, what security do that? Most security companies will offer you, if you go through the companies, not just buying the, today you can get them off Amazon, all this different stuff. No, like letting the actual company install, sometimes they just have other devices on their own, like that they offer with their services. You might have to pay monthly for the service, whatever, but anyways, they can install it, the whole system. We're talking about systems again. Some people just feel safer with motion sensors in their house. Like it definitely, they want to be notified, facility or the home, while you're away from. Seriously, because they said this desk officer was went out for lunch or something with this story. Even if you did, and then that's fishy. Because come on, man, you got DoorDash, Uber Eats, or what are you saying? You went out to get your order. You went outside. You just what I read. You went to get food. Went to get food could have been Uber Eats delivering it, DoorDash. It's a whole lot. Instacart. Or did you go somewhere and get food? That's just crazy. Well, you know the inmates, they'll be all right. I'll be right back. It's a crazy idea, bro. Maybe the person was new, hadn't been in the business long. You gotta understand, in any career or industry, there's always a rookie. People, I don't care how you try to bully the rookies, look at it, it just always is. Everybody has to go through their season of that. Not to defend the correctional officers that might have made a mistake. Not to defend that, but any careers, you have your rookie stage. A rookie stage, depending on what you're doing, could be up to 5 years. And in that 5 years, you are tested. What do you think gets you out of the rookie stage? You have to prove you are approved for what you do, what you say that you're skilled at doing. That's what any of us like. We're gonna end up having to work hard with what you go into. So yeah, I'm not saying I know for sure with law enforcement. Like, hey, what is y'all official rookie stage level? I've never asked. I guess it depends on what you do too. Like, are you a sergeant? Are you like? I'm sure even sergeants, you don't just join and you're that. There's probably honors and levels they have to go through and go to. And it's just not a good look. You're away. I mean, what am I describing? Like the baby monitors. You can have one sitting in an area, the other with you. While you are away from a specific area, you can still see the. So they're not hiding that fact. Like, hey, yes, we need help with infrastructure and security. That's all I'm trying to clarify when I give my live reaction to what it seems like that's being reported at this time. And the news is updating hourly. Like, at every second, if they are actively pursuing them, then yes, you would have to expect the news to update. I wouldn't say just rapidly, I don't know what speed, but some of us are keeping up with the story. I don't have to live in an area to do that, like, because we know somebody running away is not always just going to stay in the same state. That's just naive to think. That's what running away is. Like, either way you look at it. No matter how old the person is doing it, that's what's dangerous about it. Like, they just out there. Like, I'm finna look now. I'm trying to see if it's an update. Y'all can email me at soulworkimages11@gmail.com too, though. I said I was going to start announcing it more uh, stories we can go live about too, or inspirational topics. But I'm just looking up right now if it's been an update to this one as of this morning, May 19, 2025. I'm really curious as to if it's been an update so far, but I know they did apprehend 3. I'm just saying since then, because like I say, stuff changed by the day, hour, week with a situation like this. Let's see, has there been updates? News. See, the last one I see 5 hours ago, 2 hours ago. Louisiana governor blasts progressive promises after New Orleans jail escape by Fox News. 7 escaped jail inmates still at large as search enters 4th day. That's just an update for you guys. It says it's the 4th day, officially today. So this is the most recent article I'm finding. One of the most recent ones, 5 hours ago, 7:31 this morning. 7 of the 10 remain at large. In a separate statement, Attorney General Liz Murrow said on Sunday her office's main priority remains recovering the prisoners, protecting the public, securing and stabilizing the facility, staff, and building. At a news conference, the governor said the escape was the worst in recent state history. I figured so. I already knew it's as much as history. Like, that's just something they pretty much log as that it did take place before, at a certain facility. What do y'all think this will lead to as far as the future of the facility at this time? Leave your opinions in the comments section. What do y'all think this is ultimately going to? Do you think it will bring in the change a little bit where they need it there in Louisiana? When it comes to funding, maybe for security, what they said, in infrastructure that might be needed, or should they just, I hate to say it, shut it down? That's not a good look. You don't want to shut it down. I know they're not thinking like that. That's whole space. But I'm saying if you got to shut down certain parts until it's through with construction, that's just my opinion. What you call it, construction? Infrastructure, that's like the whole building though. I'm not a whole construction carpenter now, but I would think it has something more to do with that, like the insides, the architect of the building. when you say infrastructure. Like, this is what we particularly need assistance with. Thank God they're already asking them or whatever, but because you still have people there. That's what I'm saying. Are they what do y'all think? You think they're gonna move them? Maybe to all new facilities? That's a whole reason now. Some of them might get transferred. That's crazy. Maybe they, maybe they'll just bring them back, fix up where they got out at, and continue on with the facility. That's what I'm saying. What can we expect? That's why some of us are keeping up with the story to the future of that particular facility. Maybe you do gotta move them, break it down, build it back up, or something. Or do you watch your initial reaction to something like this? It's very sensitive. They chose to leave a note on the wall. That's what makes it more sensitive. You chose to leave a note on the wall. I'm not an officer or nothing. I'm just reading what I'm seeing about it. Like, that makes it a much more sensitive political thing now. Because now it's like, what are you challenging their security? That's how they have to look at it, in my opinion. You leaving notes. Like I said, I know it's other inmates seeing it on the news right now, just everywhere. I would say the future of it, I don't know. Just remember, y'all, I said that as a likely prediction or something. Like, they might end up shutting that whole place down over this. This is serious. What makes it serious, in my opinion? How many, how quick they did it. That a lot of things. I got the same opinion as other people. The staff, that people want to be held accountable. Who are the people? We the people. Us, even in a free world, when we're not in there, we are still expected to abide by certain laws, protocols, try to be the healthiest states of us that we can be, and nobody's going to be perfect. But I'm saying it gets to a certain level where you're serving time. It make us all, we should think about it, that's my opinion. We should think about it. Because even out here, it should make you more grateful too. I know the people in that community have a right to fear if they do. I'm not promoting or advocating fear either, guys. I'm just saying, like, it's not it happens so often. That's not like a common, it's not like people haven't tried it before. We know the history. That's why people saying it. We know the history. They get their butts apprehended most times, or they don't make it long out there. Only the myth stories, which only those who consider them myths, they're myths. But there are some known people that go out there, they traveling, they gone, they just were never found. Maybe they started under new identities, whatever the hell. But everybody loves it because that's why they be like those type of legend stories. Like, not saying people love people escaping, they just definitely try to call themselves keeping up with the conspiracies of it afterwards. Like, if they never catch them. But that movie, I never talked about it, did I? The movie I recommended to you guys, right, on this topic. Because we were talking about how there are other maximum levels of security. Prisons. People just say, yeah, he's in maximum lockup. Like, bro, what level? Is it psychiatric? Like, what? Be more specific, because they do have prisons on faraway lands, islands, and stuff, for specific minded type of people, criminals. They do. Am I advocating and saying that this is what these brothers need when they're apprehended? No, for the record, I'm stating that everything I state on this stream is just solely my opinions, perceptions, and right to free thinking will. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that they deserve to go on one of those. I'm just saying my research with prisons, I would know that there are higher levels of maximum security that's supposed to exist. Higher than maximum security prisons. If you put somebody on an island plus his bars plus his chains, I mean not chains, barbed wire on an island, and they got to get through a whole jungle just to get back to the water, just to swim back somewhere. Yeah, you pretty much had in mind that you didn't want nobody to escape. That's what I'm saying. They even have pods built out of different things, like for certain. Think X-Men maybe. I don't know why I brought up X-Men. It's a reason. Because, like, you might have to create something a certain way. That's been like that. I told you I've been doing that type of research. They might have to make a cell unit specifically, or some type of scientific pod for some of these criminals. They making it seem that way. Come on, man. You can't be mad at the new technology now and make you think about it. They're talking about robot cops and everything. Because what does it take? I get it. What does it take? Like, on these type of jails and islands, some of them, they even go and do documentaries. Anybody can look them up in their free time. Maybe go to the library, look on YouTube. There are people who enjoyed that, going to historical prisons that might not be open anymore, and just exploring them, taking us on tours, maybe talking to some people. What happened here? Researching some of the inmates who were known to have been locked up there. I always thought that was interesting. Now I never said I got to do it now. Because some of them places, they're only doing them because they're supposedly haunted. That's why I was having y'all put two and two together. If it's shut down, it's on a strange island. It got bushes everywhere and cobweb. It's just like an abandoned prison. And sometimes they feel like those places, there were stories that they might be haunted. So people might go out there with their cameras and journal and pen and cover stories. But they've been existed, even psychiatric facilities that are no longer. They probably were in operation in something like the 20s during the Nazi time or even earlier. Mental health studies have been around for a long time. Back to the movie I said I was going to refer y'all to. It's called Shutter Island. My boy in there, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio. He's such a great actor. The reason he was in his prison, because I had to watch the movie a few times to catch on to it. I'm going to tell a little bit without spoiling the movie, because maybe everybody ain't seen it. But it's not new. It's probably more of an early 2000s movie, maybe a depiction of a true story. Anybody that want to go check it out. It's called Shutter Island. And it's one of my favorites. Y'all hear how I'm talking about it? Because he was on this type of prison because he kept acting out something he had already did to his wife and kid. Like, he just literally kept acting out his life. Maybe the wife wasn't standing before him, but they would catch him talking to somebody, like he talking to his wife. Think about it. See, the crime already happened. You committed it. But where his mental was, he could not be in regular population in a regular prison with people. He was obviously so moved and hurt. That movie did such a great job showing that time frame had also happened in a time in history where they were very much still learning the new ins and outs of mental health medicine and studies. It was just a big time for that. It's still a big deal right now. Any breakthrough you have with mental health, medicine, science, studies. Back then, this was more, let me be more specific, where they did the old school way of experiments with mental health and stuff like this, right? He might have been a great selection, this one character I'm talking about in the movie, for them to have sent to one of those camps. That's crazy, right? So I think he had like a few kids, maybe 2 or 3, and his wife. So on this facility grounds, it was interesting because they would begin to let him carry out the act as many times as he need to. Like, he would just do the same thing over and over, running around asking where he was. They was trying to help him. Even in that facility, they would be like, you're a detective, you're solving a case, and he was just running around on this island the whole time, thinking something happened to his wife and kids. But the whole time He was at a psychiatric prison because he couldn't understand. Like his mind didn't have the capacity to understand that he did it. Such an interesting movie. So that's the name of it. I'll leave it in the comments. Shout out to Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm promoting his movie this because it just make me think about movies like that with this breakout story these people just had. Yeah, ain't that crazy? Like they would let him enact, not actually carrying out the act of hurting people, but they rathered him believed so it would be easier to do his time and get his treatment in that psychiatric prison. That was a part of the judge's order for him to be helped. People have to understand the levels of law and security too. Like depending on what you did, they can put you at a whole nother level max of security prison. That's all I was trying to get across. But they would just tell him he's a detective. You know, you're finding your wife and kids. I don't know. I still have mixed feelings about that. Whether the doctor should have did it that way with the man in the movie, cause like he's hurt enough. He obviously can't. He just was seeing ghosts of them. He thought they were still here with him. He was just living his life as a quote unquote detective. But the whole time he was a criminal. And the doctors there knew it. The prison guards there knew it. You are on this psychiatric hospital. Just think about that. How far the mind can go as far as hallucinations. Now they look at it deeper. Like you're not just a criminal that enacted taking your family life. I think it was supposed to be a red rum suicide type of deal. But he didn't take his life. Or they apprehended him. It was something crazy. It's an interesting movie. I just never forgot that one. Like, come on, man. How can you be living a whole reality and by the time you get to a certain part of this reality, that's what I'm saying. An outside world of doctors and therapists and policemen have figured out your psyche to the point where they already know what you're going to get to every time you get to the conclusion. And it's going to be that you can't believe that you took your own kid's wife life. They can't put a person like that in regular confinement with regular population. Just can't do that. So it looked like they had more of an eye for it back then. That's what I'm leading to. Or is that what we're seeing? What were the type of crimes where they had to put them on those type of... They probably hate me. Like, why are you bringing that up? It's a real part of history. They still have prisons right now in the middle of jungles and different places. I heard the other day Chris Brown got arrested in UK or something in the United Kingdom. It's just a lot going on all at one time. And of course, it's about another assault. I don't know if it was the bodyguard or him. I didn't really read into the story that much. Thank you guys for tuning in to another live segment where you will make it TV, where insightfulness, quotes, topics, and messages are always shared. Remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button in 2025 to stay connected with upcoming live stream topics and inspirational stories and quotes from across the globe. We love you and thank you for your support. Oh.